Sid, why are you even on this banner? Sid's Trustmaster reward is a materia that boosts equipment attack by 50% when carrying a single weapon, jump damage by 75%, and boosts the burst gauge fill rate by 50%. A 75% boosted jump damage is surprisingly on the higher end for a Trustmaster reward, and the other bonuses make this materia a bit nicer. His Super Trustmaster reward is a wind spear. Yeah, that's pretty much it. On to his active abilities. Sid's magic spells can be awakened further, giving him Wind Chains of Bolting Strike and Chaos Wave Awaken. Also Arrow Jaw. With his Neo Vision Awakening, Sid also gets Jump. Like Ricard, this ability can be awoken further. Tornado Blast deals wind damage that chains of Absolute Mirror of Equity and lowers wind resistance by 120%. Unfortunately, the majority of Sid's jumps are now pretty power crept, even with his Neo Brave ability passive. That is, all of them with the exception of Spine Shatter Dive 0+, which you never want to use before activating Sky Dragon Squall, lest you stay in the air for 15 whole turns. Flight Standby increases the damage modifier of Spine Shatter Dive 0+. Passives. With his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, Sid gains equipment attack when carrying a single weapon, Beast Killer Plus, and a boost to his jump damage. He's going to need it, given he barely has any without it in the first place. With that in mind, his passives are pretty pathetic. Not that much attack, not that many killers, and definitely not a lot of jump damage. Limit Burst damage gets a pass given you likely won't use his Limit Burst at all, which is unfortunate given its CG aspect. He also lacks any boost whatsoever to the Chain Limiter cap. At EX plus 2, he gets Warring Spirit. At EX plus 3, he gets 500 attack. Let's look at his Limit Burst. It looks very cool. Time to change forms. Sid's Brave Shift has a 5-turn duration and a 4-turn cooldown. On to his active abilities. An example for his daughters will increase the damage modifier of Final Spine Shatter Dive. I won't go easy on you, that's the exact same thing. The aforementioned ability first imbues wind onto Sid, then has him leap into the air. He'll have to wait an additional turn before landing though. Passives. With his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, Sid gains a lot of stats. His passives are much better in this form, receiving a huge leap in jump damage and equipment attack, and meeting half the cap for Limit Burst damage despite the fact that his Limit Burst doesn't even do any damage. He also has 4 different killers, each at 100%. He prefers to carry a single weapon, meaning half the cap to the chain limit boost. Lastly, he loses out on his incredible wind resistance, in exchange for straight up absorbing it instead. Let's look at his Limit Burst. It boosts his wind damage by 40%, his attack by 300%, grants him a powerful Beast Killer buff, and raises the damage modifier of Final Spine Shatter Dive. Let's rank Brave abilities. Raising his attacks just raises their damage modifiers, so I'd prioritize Final Spine Shatter Dive, Blue Sky Strike, and then Tornado Blast. Time to make a damage rotation. I'll make separate ones for his base and Brave Shift. We'll start with his base form. On turn 1, cast Flight Standby, Sky Dragon Squall, and Tornado Blast. On turn 2, cast True Spine Shatter Dive 0. Land on turn 3. On turn 4, triple cast Tornado Blast. With that, his Brave Shift will be ready, so switch to that once his Limit Burst gauge is filled. Now, his Brave Shift. I'll assume you managed to fill his Limit Burst gauge. On turn 1, cast an example for his daughters, I Won't Go Easy on You, and Tornado Blast. On turn 2, use his Limit Burst. On turn 3, cast Final Spine Shatter Dive. Play the game on turn 4. On turn 5, land. With that, he'll be forced back to his base form. Now depending on how you've built him and what enemy you're fighting, it might be better to ignore the damage modifier buffs on turn 2 in order to do 2 jumps of his Brave Shift. However, it must be noted that his Limit Burst buffs won't last long enough for both attacks, so you likely need a support unit when he lands. So, EX2, the boosts are rather straightforward this time around. EX plus 2 is Warring Spirit, which can let Sid leap into his Brave Shift faster. EX plus 3 is 500 attack, which is fine so long as you have enough Sids. So how good is Sid? He's an even stronger wind jumper now, but unfortunately he's released hot on the heels of another wind jumper, Ricard, who happens to be stronger, more stable, and he rides a dragon. His base form also requires much more to properly excel, given his lackluster passives, though his Brave Shift doesn't suffer as much. Ultimately, Sid can be a powerful unit, but its base form's potential can be thwarted by the sheer amount of passives he's missing. Just like mid. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below what level is your Sid. Man, I had a lot of copies going into this event, so for the first time ever, I have a featured unit at EX +2 before I even farm.